Thanks to our patrons who not only voted for what we review, but also have funded it over the last several months, we got a chance to buy something. And that is the Springfield Prodigy 4 1/4. Now, this is a pistol that I have a couple rounds through, not this exact one, but I've shot one at events, had kind of mixed feelings, so I greatly appreciate the chance to give this thing a real thorough review and hopefully discover some things that, well, the influencers haven't told you. Coming up, you'll see cold shots, the absolute first shots through this gun. We'll do full magazine +1, take it over to the what's for dinner table to see what the gun will eat. Then the spinner for sights and trigger control, followed by practical accuracy and concluding thoughts. We'll start with those cold shots. Got our target camera set up, and we have a C-zone size target out at 25 yards. Gotta apologize in advance for the background noise. Sorry about that. Busy range. This is a decent weather day, and they just had a match yesterday, so it's been full all morning. For ammunition, I'm using the New Republic 115 grain that we tested as part of our recent ammo test. Found this stuff to be a little bit on the soft side, so I also have some Winchester in the waiting over on the table in case it's too soft. 10 rounds using the 17 round magazine. Definitely got to do the old school 1911 support thumb for that slide release. Let's see how this does. Man, those sights are tall. That was the wrong magazine. This is the right magazine. I do that sometimes. It happens. I'm leaving it in because my reviews are real. There we go. Support side thumb works a whole lot better. Slide feels a little sluggish, but that could be because the gun is new. I am also feeling the serrations on the back of the slide rubbing against my thumb as I rest my thumb on the safety. Can't see the misses. We'll have to see that in target cam footage. But overall, a comfortably shooting gun. Seems pretty nice. It's just something that you've got to get used to for running the thumb on the slide there. Moving on to our full mag +1. Got the 17 rounder for our 1 and the 20 rounder for our full. That fit in, if you guys could hear it there, fit in decently, and we'll see how these mags run. Pretty excited about Durmag making these magazines. I've long been a fan of their rifle mags. It's having to aim extra high to hit those as I was finding it, but mags ran fine. Onto the mags. Durmag, if you guys are AR shooters of pretty much any caliber, makes spectacular mags. They've made calibers run that others thought just couldn't, like 7.6239. So when it was announced that they were making the mags for the Prodigy, I was pretty excited for a couple of reasons. One, I love their rifle mags, and two, regular double stack 1911 mags are freaking expensive, and these are coming to market at a much lower price. The other one is you don't have to worry about which generation, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 of double stack 1911 mag. These ones just work. You don't have to worry about tuning the feed lips. So as far as I've heard, these ones just work. So it's nice to have quality mags. Now that I've said all of that, we'll go over to what's for dinner and see what the gun will eat and what the mags will run. And it's the crowd favorite what's for dinner time. Thanks to our patrons and Ammo Squared supporters, we've got 50 grain up through 150 grain today. As I go by these, you'll see that the ogives in different locations. We have different case materials, different projectile types. We're testing 3 rounds to see what the gun will eat. Will it feed from slide lock? Is there enough energy and low enough friction to feed a subsequent round? And will it lock open on empty? The 3rd round to reduce variables. Anything past that is testing the mag. If you're curious about trying any of this ammunition yourself, check the pinned comment over at gbgunsdepot.com is the full review of this firearm, as well as links to this ammo where we could find it at the time of writing. Target camera is set up. We are 7 yards away. Those are 2-inch circles. This is used mostly to see how these things print, and so I got something to aim at, but the grouping of them can be fun. First up is my personal carry load and our lightest load, which is the Civil Defense from Liberty Ammunition, 50 grain plus P, super lightweight. If you carry higher capacity, man, it saves you a lot of hip pain, I guess you could say. Loud as hell. No issues in the Prodigy. Second load, Hornady Critical Defense Light 100 grain. These are an odd one in that they look almost like a 380. In fact, even today, while setting up for this, I had to double check to make sure that I didn't grab the 380 load because of the way they're shaped. We had a failure to fire, did chamber. Try this again. Interesting failure to fire there. I don't know, usually Hornady is not where you get failures to fire. Call that one a maybe. Next up is the super affordable Sierra Sportsmaster 115 grain. We tested their 124 grain a while back, found it to be Trying the 115 now. Keeping in mind that the Prodigy is meant to be an affordable, a working man's double stack 1911. Get some affordable working man hollow points in here. See how we do on circle 3. Spicy ammo. Thanks to that long, slow slide movement. Fairly comfortable to shoot. Not getting the best accuracy today so far. Next is SIG Elite Defense, V-Crown 115 grain. For circle 4. Spicy. Yeah, I'm getting a thumb rub from the slide. That might be slowing down the slide. And could cause malfunctions. Something to keep in mind when you remember those initial reports of all the failures. What was the guy's shooting style? Circle 5, Wolf steel case 115 grain. We use steel and aluminum in these tests because the same reason you guys do. It's affordable ammo. However, you get higher friction between the cases stacked in the magazine, going into and out of the chamber, and the expansion and contraction rate when fired is a little bit different than brass. That can cause some guns to choke on it. Thunderous. Grouped well. All right, now I will reload the mags and we'll do the second half. Moving over to circle 6 is the Blazer aluminum 115 grain. Grouped well, ran well. Circle 7 is our Hornady Critical Duty. This is the 124 grain stuff, not the 135, and it is not the plus P stuff. They make a lot of varieties of Critical Duty. Circle 7. Failure to feed. I did not feel the slide rub on my hand that time. Failure to feed. So that's one you're gonna have to watch out for. I would say maybe pass. When you get 2 out of 3 fail to feed, it's probably not gonna run the gun. Next is Federal's Syntec Defense Synthetic Jacketed Hollow Point 138 grain. For circle 8. I totally mashed that one. I'm not sure where it went. Slide is still feeling a bit sluggish for me. And keep in mind, I am not new to hammer-fired guns. It's just got a long kind of shook going on. Now, we are shooting this gun straight out of the box. You have seen every round fired through this gun. It may need some break-in. Circle 9 Remington HTP is the 147 grain jacketed hollow point. This stuff feels pretty nice. And you may be noticing that my points of impact are kind of swimming all over the place. A complaint that I have had with U-notch style sights, depending on the front sight, is sometimes it can be hard to accurately line up those top edges, especially if there's a lot of light on there. And that's what I'm encountering on this. So it's just making it difficult for me to provide consistent aiming for such a fine point. Defensive shooting or competition shooting probably doesn't matter much. And our last load, heaviest load, is the Federal Syntech Action Pistol, 150 grain. This is a gamer load. It's calibrated to meet power factor to be able to compete, but be as soft as possible. And it typically shoots very softly. Yep. Print that, I was focusing more on just where the front sight was, less on the rear sight, trying to get a good square image off of that fiber optic, and it still got me. So what do? We make it more difficult. Let's head over to the spinner. That is our 6-inch Titan Grid Outdoors spinner target. I'm back here about 13 yards away. Use this target for sights and trigger control because it's a small target and it moves. As you hit it, it starts moving. The better you hit it, the faster it moves, which makes timing a well-placed shot all the more important. I'm standing next to the camera here. Got 8 rounds of that New Republic. Out of this 4 1/4 inch barrel, we should be getting a little more energy. See how we do here. With the 4 1/4 inch Prodigy, that was, as you saw, quite easy. Timing the shots with this trigger is very easy to do. It's a fairly crisp, decent 1911-esque trigger. The fiber optic front sight and blacked out rear worked really good against that red. And as I was just saying in What's for Dinner, on a 6-inch target, getting as fine of a point of aim doesn't matter as much. Where it will be important is coming up next, aiming at a 1-inch target. Let's see how it does in practical accuracy. Practical accuracy is 5 shots from 7 yards. Now aiming at the left circle square, that is a 1-inch square. And from this distance, it's often about the same size as a front sight post. Speaking of, I just noticed the fiber optic has come loose on here. It's just the nature of fiber optic front sights. They're great, but man, more often than not, they come loose. 5 rounds with that New Republic ammo. Not the greatest, but it's what we've got. Let's see how I do. Not too bad. Doing that practical accuracy part was somewhat made easy by the fact that it's a black square on white paper. So since it was the same size as the front sight post at this distance, if I saw any white or if I saw any black outside of this front sight post, I knew that I was slightly off target. Just my own shooter error not making that a perfect group, but the gun's certainly capable. It's my belief that the Prodigy is to serve as the working man's double stack 1911, something that people can reasonably afford to get their hands on without it being a $2 or $3 or $4 or $5,000 crazy custom. it gives you the experience of double stack 1911. It does not feel as refined in shooting as, I mean, one, you really can't expect it to at this price point. They're even less expensive now than they were when they came out. I think this was $12.99. If you're curious about pricing and where to find them for stuff like that, that'll be in the pinned comment over at the full review at gbgunsdepot.com. It's comfortable to shoot. The sluggishness of the slide seemed to go away just in this short session, so a little bit of break-in, understandable. The tucked flush slide release is something that looks good. I don't know if I particularly like it. I think in a training course or high volume of fire, it might get obnoxious, but I don't know. You'll have to ask the guys that compete with Prodigies. They've been out for a while. A lot of folks are using them for that. Sight system was good. Trigger was decent. Ergonomics was good. It's comfortable to shoot. There's really nothing wrong with it. It's not an elite high-end fancy gun, but there's nothing wrong with it either. I think it's, I think Springfield hit the mark with this one. I'm not sure who's doing all the manufacturing for them, but seems to be pretty good. Now, this is one that was purchased in August of 2023 after they've been out for a while, after some of the teething issues with the ejectors had been fixed. I know initially a lot of people blamed the mags, but it turned out to be an ejector type issue. I have no qualms about it. It's leaving me not necessarily excited, but I don't have any complaints either. So it's just kind of a neutral, good gun. And if you want something like this, this is a good price point for it. I think the competition, as in on the market, is increasing because there are others that I've been a little more impressed with that cost about the same. But it's not bad. I don't see any reason to hate on it. Comfortable gun. If you went out and bought one, I'd say you shouldn't have regrets. If you're thinking about buying one, keep doing your research, but it's a good, safe bet, in my opinion. Thank you, patrons, for funding this. Thank you, patrons, for voting for this. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.